Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're completely cracking open the vault on a world of dark magic, canceled cinematic universes, and some seriously hidden lore. We're taking a deep, fascinating look at the mythos of Dracula Untold. If you thought this was just your average, run-of-the-mill vampire origin story, well, think again. Beneath the surface of this film lies an absolute treasure trove of deleted scenes, deep mythology, and wild fan theories that completely recontextualize the entire story. Here's a quick roadmap for what we're looking at today. We'll be covering the origins of the Master, the transformation process, vampire abilities, holy weaknesses, a really cool Baba Yaga connection, and finally, unsolved mysteries. Starting right off with Section 1, Origins of the Master. To really understand Vlad the Impaler's curse, we've got to look at the guy who actually gave it to him, right? We have to start with that overarching mystery lurking in the shadows of Broken Tooth Mountain. The master vampire isn't just some random monster. He is literally the progenitor of the entire species. According to the legend relayed by the priest at Castle Dracula, this creature was once just a mortal man who summoned a demon from the absolute depths of hell. He wanted to trade his soul for dark power. But demons are tricksters. The demon granted his wish, sure, but the price was devastating. An eternity condemned to the pitch-black darkness of that mountain cave. And the only way he can ever leave is if he finds another worthy soul to take his place and inherit the darkness. Now, this is wild. In the original script for the film, the master vampire actually had a name: Gaius Caesar. Yep, the former dictator and ruler of Rome related to Julius Caesar, who historically was assassinated in 41 AD. In the lore of this universe, Gaius never truly died. He survived, made that demonic pact, and was trapped in that cave for over 1,500 years. There was even a deleted scene where the master vampire first greets Vlad wearing an ancient Roman helmet. And while the filmmakers ultimately cut this to keep the master a bit more mysterious, it perfectly explains why he knew Vlad's name, his family history, and all about his military tactics. It just shows how much hidden historical world building was happening right beneath the surface of the script. Moving right along to Section 2, the transformation. Because becoming a creature of the night in this universe, it's not as simple as just getting bitten in a dark alley. If we look at the mechanics of this curse, there's a very strict rulebook in play. First, a simple bite won't do it. The human actually has to willingly drink the vampire's blood. Second, you die, and then awaken as a creature of the night. But step 3 is the absolute most crucial part, the 3-day temptation period. If the newly turned vampire abstains from drinking human blood for 3 days, they return to their normal mortal state. But if they give in to the thirst, the curse becomes permanent. What's absolutely fascinating is that during this trial period, the mortal forms a psychic link with their sire. When Vlad was tempted to drink, he could physically hear strange chanting, and the master vampire down in his cave was instantly aware of Vlad's struggle. It's a brilliant detail. Which brings us to Section 3, Vampire Abilities and Powers. The raw, monstrous stats Vlad gains after his transformation are just off the charts. The master promises Vlad the strength of 100 men, and we literally see him decimate an army of 1,000 Turkish soldiers single-handedly. He gains dominion over the creatures of the night. In one of the most cinematic moments of the whole film, Vlad punches the ground, causing a swarm of thousands of bats to mimic his movement and just devastate the opposing army. Plus, his senses are dialed all the way up to 11. He can hear a spider wrapping its prey from dozens of feet away, and his vision is so acute he can see the Milky Way straight through the Earth atmosphere. He can even manipulate the weather to shroud the sun in clouds. And his healing factor doesn't just cure new burns and cuts. It actually goes back and erases all the old traumatic whipping scars from his back. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer, astonishing speed these creatures possess. Think back to that heartbreaking sequence where Vlad dives off a tower to try and catch his falling wife. If a human falls at terminal velocity, that means Vlad was flying downward at an astonishing 150 to 180 miles per hour. Yet, as incredibly fast as that is, the 1,500-year-old master vampire is even faster. Within his cave, the master moves at near teleportation speeds, proving that the older the vampire, the more devastating their power becomes. The master tells Vlad, "I have waited an eternity for a man of your strength." And he doesn't just mean physical strength here. He means sheer, unyielding willpower. The demon who cursed the master must be incredibly picky about who inherits this power. We see firsthand that when Vlad later turns ordinary humans who lack his iron will, they don't become calculating tacticians. They instantly devolve into mindless, bloodthirsty savages. The master needed a king, a warrior with enough psychological fortitude to wield the darkness without losing his mind. Let's look at the flip side in Section 4, holy weaknesses. For all that godlike power, they have some massive, glaring vulnerabilities. And the thematic duality here is just brilliant. You have to remember the root source of this curse. The magic literally came from a demon in the depths of hell. Therefore, the curse is violently repelled by anything representing light, divinity, and holiness. It's a classic cosmic game of good versus evil. This translates into some very specific, highly damaging weaknesses. First up, the cross. Interestingly, it only blinds and burns Vlad after he officially drinks human blood and completes his transformation. Second, the sun. Often associated with life and divinity in ancient writings, sunlight literally scorches their demonic flesh. Third, silver. Historically tied to the silver pieces paid to Judas, being near silver actively drains a vampire's strength. Remember when Vlad fights Mehmed? Mehmed's tent is lined with silver coins, which physically sapped Vlad's power down to near human levels. And finally, the wooden stake. This is the only guaranteed way to kill them. And get this, the magical curse is so potent that if someone tries to stake a vampire, solid steel armor will literally disintegrate and dissolve away from the wooden tip just to allow the stake to pierce the heart. How crazy is that? Let's pivot to Section 5, the Baba Yaga connection. If you know your Slavic folklore, you definitely know the Baba Yaga. She's this morally ambiguous, terrifying witch who traditionally lives in a hut on chicken legs. Well, an entire sequence was shot for Dracula Untold where Vlad actually encounters her. In the deleted scene, a beautiful woman takes Vlad into her home, only to transform into this grotesque, child-eating witch. And while the full scene was cut, she actually still exists in the final movie. If you watch closely when Vlad drinks the master's blood and hallucinates a series of dark visions, a really quick flash of the Baba Yaga and her sharp metal teeth actually makes it onto the screen. In their deleted conversation, the Baba Yaga says to Vlad, "No creature like you has ever freely roamed the earth before." This is a massive lore drop. She's confirming that Vlad is only the second vampire to ever exist, since the master has been locked up in his cave for centuries. She also mysteriously warns Vlad against drinking human blood. Why? Because as a powerful magic user herself, she likely knew that if Vlad fully turned, the master would finally be set free. And that brings us to our final part, Section 6, Unsolved Mysteries and Theories. Remember, Dracula Untold was meant to launch a massive, dark universe of interconnected monster movies, which means it left us with a massive cliffhanger. Who betrayed the master? He explicitly tells Vlad that his entire motivation for leaving the cave is to seek revenge on the one who betrayed him all those centuries ago. So the crucial point is, who exactly is he talking about? Fans have narrowed it down to 3 prime suspects. First, the demon itself, who tricked Gaius Caesar and trapped him in the dark. Second, the Baba Yaga. As a rival magic user, she might have actually conducted the ritual that cursed him, which completely explains why she didn't want Vlad to set him free. But the third theory? This is the wildest one. What if Vlad himself is the reincarnation of the betrayer? We know reincarnation is real in this universe, because at the very end of the film, set in the modern day, Vlad literally meets the reincarnation of his dead wife. If Vlad's soul is the one that betrayed the master thousands of years ago, it perfectly explains the master's obsessive focus on him. We also absolutely have to talk about the mysterious familiar. Throughout the film, there's this unnamed Renfield-like character who just worships Vlad. Think about it. This is the guy who finds the Roman helmet in the river, which points Vlad toward the cave in the first place. He obsessively follows Vlad around, encouraging him to drink blood. And at the end of the film, when Vlad is literally dying from sunlight, this man magically appears and revives him with his own blood. He was almost certainly an agent sent by the master vampire to rig the game and lure Vlad into accepting the curse. This explainer leaves us right where the movie does, in the modern day, with the master vampire dressed in a sharp suit following Vlad and his reincarnated wife. He smiles and utters the line, "Let the games begin." It's a tantalizing glimpse at a franchise that never was. So I leave you with this provocative thought. In this immortal game of chess, who do you think betrayed the master vampire? And what kind of supernatural war was about to break out in the modern world? Thank you so much for exploring the dark depths of this lore with me today. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.